Hey Surya, how are you doing?
Hi, Mayank. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. Friends, today we have with us Surya Kumar, who writes long form blogs about education, technology, sports, and everything. Surya, I'd love to hear you talk about yourself first outside of writing. Tell me more about yourself.
Hey, everyone. So my name is Surya. I have a startup that focuses on community and organization development using behavior explorations. We're in the process of launching a card game that promotes the awareness on sustainable living through a very fun gamified manner. COVID has sort of put us, gave us a pause in terms of putting it out on the market, but we're looking to launch it by end of 2020. Also, besides this, we're also looking to, at this point, with the startup, we're looking to launch open source tools that organizations can use to improve productivity and performance. That's much of what I do outside of writing. With respect to writing, right now I currently have a fellowship. It's an international fellowship with an organization called Nellis, which looks to build emerging leaders in sustainability by 2050. And that sort of helps me look into sustainable trends and businesses across Asia. That's sort of, like consumes most of my time at this point in time. And
Oh,
that's about
that's a very
brief overview.
impressive list of things you've been doing. Surya Kumar, I'll call you Surya, right?
Yeah, Surya Bit.
Great, great. Surya, where are you based?
I'm actually based out of Chennai, but right now I'm back home in Vellore.
Okay.
So it's sort of shuffling between Chennai and Bangalore for work mostly.
Awesome, awesome. So now that we have understood a bit more about you, tell me what all, as a writer, what all industries have you written for so far? What kind of businesses have you helped?
So initially when I started out as on product descriptions. It was the most basic of when I started out.
Uh-huh.
And then I sort of moved into writing long form articles, especially geared towards research papers. It sort of helped me sort of structure my work really well. And that's sort of where I've worked for about 2 years now in terms of the academic field.
Mm-hmm.
And post that, like I said earlier, I moved towards the fellowship, which is essentially writing case studies, but they're
Okay.
not like long form writing or anything, but they're more focused on, say, is a specific technology or is a specific service sustainable, and how is it sustainable, and how can I sort of squeeze that into a 500 or a 600 word case study. That's sort of where that comes from. So
Oh,
yeah.
great. You also mentioned you write about sports. So is there a particular sport that you're really passionate about?
Yeah. So before all the sort of pay for writing, before all of that came through, I used to write a football blog. I am not even sure about what the URL for that website was or anything like
Okay.
that. It was just
Okay.
something that I used to do, is where you could write for, say, 3, 4 articles a week sort of thing. And I really liked writing it because it's sort of where you can do a lot of analysis. You can sort of explore a lot of things, and so that's where I sort of started it. So that's the sports aspect of it is something that I wanted to explore, but it's not something that sort of naturally comes by in terms of work. It's
Okay.
very very few opportunities on that side of the writing spectrum, I suppose. So I
Correct.
could never
Correct.
explore it professionally. Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. So let's start with your journey. How did you get your first client or your first paid client, or how did you begin?
So I actually was working as a HR support executive at a friend's company, and they had a shortage of good writers at that company. And I said, you know what, should I can I? I mean, I'll write a few for you as well. So that sort of I sort of stumbled onto it, and it
Okay.
wasn't really like where I had a client and then I approached a client and so on. But that job lasted for about 4 to 5 months, and
Okay.
after that went towards, I actually got a client through Facebook, is where I sort of went through this whole building a portfolio for myself and then approaching a client and then receiving work. So I worked with that client specifically for about 2 years now. So
Oh,
beyond
wow.
that, hadn't really had to sort of move and find new clients beyond that. I've had regular work with that particular client.
Great, great. So you mentioned that you also landed a client through Facebook. Like, did it happen
Yeah.
simply by inbound, or were you reaching out to them, or how did it happen?
So I had joined a group that had specifically mentioned for freelance writers, and
Okay.
so most of those posts, if you looked at it, they were looking for people who would work a lot but for a very little amount of money. So
Mm-hmm.
what that means to say, for 1,000 words, they'll offer like 40 rupees, or not
Oh,
40 rupees, but 40 pies per word. Yeah, there'll be like 400 rupees for 1,000 words, right?
correct,
So
correct. That's quite
among
true.
all that, among that mess, I found someone who was very logical in what they wanted.
Okay.
The post was saying that this is my requirements, this is the level of expertise I needed, and I need someone who's a published writer. So I published before
Okay.
in a journal, so that sort of gave me a sort of boost. So I reached out to them saying that, hey, this is my profile, do check it out. This is the published work that I've had, and how do we take this forward? And then she reached back to me and said, this is my requirements. How can you deal with it? What is your output like, and how much do you want to get paid? I think that was the start of that working relationship with that
Oh, that
agency.
sounds great. That sounds great. Okay. So could you tell me a little more about how do you typically start a writing project, especially when a client approaches you and you're not really sure about the product or the organization, or more specifically the industry? In that situation, how do you begin?
So I would generally look at research,
Okay.
but more in terms of understanding what it is, then going into the innovative aspects of it. So say if someone comes and gives me a project on anthropology, right?
Okay.
Like I don't know what anthropology is, right? But
Correct.
then I can obviously read up on it and then go into, so I do this, I'll go for basic level understanding of what the project is,
Mm-hmm.
then do an intermediary level, and then do an advanced level. The advanced level is research papers, and where I can refer Google Scholar or Sci-Hub or whatever, right? And once I have a complete understanding of that project, I'll take it forward. This is in terms of a general topic, but if it's in terms of a business or a product, I'll reach out to professionals I have network within the industry with, because the startup allows me to network with the range of professionals. So if it is a product, if it's a technological product that I haven't used, but I know that a member of that networking community that I've built has, I'll reach out to them saying, hey, what is the use of this product? How would you rate it? And what are the pros and cons of it? So I get like a much more user-based um, um, a review of it, and not just a company-based review, so I can understand what the client would require in terms of the objectives. So my approach will essentially depend on who the client is, what the project is, and how I can gain enough information.
Oh, that sounds very logical, especially leveraging the power of network, especially within the startup community. That must be a big advantage you enjoy. Great.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Great. Fine. How long back did you actually start as a writer? And what I'm really more interested in is how do you constantly make efforts to improve yourself as a writer?
So I started off around end of 2017, I
Okay.
suppose,
Mhm.
or even somewhere mid of 2017.
Okay.
Um, when I started picking up freelance work, I suppose.
Okay. Okay.
So how I improve as a writer is I try writing it. The specific to the blog, I suppose, is where I sort of help myself improving it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it comes to clients and when it comes to projects or freelance projects, they all have set level of requirements. So they have set specification that I need to achieve, right? If
Okay.
it's an academic paper, there is, say, this is what it needs to be there. There needs to be this many amount of words, and this is the language that you have to, type of flow that you have to have, and so on. And if it's a product review, then you have, your customer review, you need to have SEO elements and so on. So that really that sort of takes the romance or passion out of writing. So when I want to
Okay.
improve as a writer,
Uh-huh.
I write on my own. I write my
Mhm.
own blogs. I write in terms of help, so for me, I'm sort of geared towards a social development in terms of the startup and everything as well. So I try looking at things that are relevant right now and try breaking them down into different sort of articles. Some of them I may make it number based, some of them I make it more case analysis based, and try sort of exploring different forms of writing to help myself improve as a writer.
Oh yeah, that's something like an actor trying to do different roles and then learning
Yeah.
everything that the right actor can do from taking up every role. That sounds very interesting. It's very interesting. You mentioned something writing about your own blog. So do you have your own blog or website or something that you maintain?
I have a Medium blog that I forwarded to your email ID. Yeah, it's medium.com/surya9406.
Okay.
You can check it out. So it's so right now I've actually started something called a psychology and math series. It's just like looking at how we can look at numbers a little differently.
Okay.
So that was just something that I stumbled onto. Right? I was viewing something else, and someone is talking about why with COVID, why it's a huge impact and why people aren't realizing it. And I just that sort of helped me sort of process it and then take it forward and build a series around it. So it's just something that I'm doing. And additionally, to sort of improve myself as a writer, I've taken up this sort of challenge with a friend of mine. So where we put across topics to each other and we have like say 3 or 4 days of a deadline and we have to sort of put in an article or publish it on Medium. And then this is for going forward for a year, right? Just to sort of see how we can explore different facets of writing, different things that you can write on and so on. So without having that burnout or writer's block that people keep falling back to, right? So without having that, how can you?
Oh, that sounds interesting. I mean, you yourself taking up challenges on your own instead of waiting for somebody to give you a task. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
That's great. So you've been doing it for about a year now.
No, the challenge I just started out. I just started about a week or two ago.
Okay.
So it's planned for a year. Okay. So going forward till 2021, June, July, I should be able to complete.
That would need a lot of self-discipline because I can, as a fellow writer, I can understand all sorts of writing take a lot of self-discipline. Great. You're saying something.
Go on.
Yeah,
go on. No, go.
Okay. So it takes a lot of self-discipline. So it must be very demanding for you as well.
I'm not exactly sure if it's demanding, right? Because when I write for myself, I don't really feel that there is a demand on me because there is no external deadline, right?
Correct.
So I have enough flexibility in terms of time, in terms of taking the flow in whatever direction I want. I can choose to delete everything and start from beginning, right? Because I don't have a demand of a deadline on. So I think writing for myself is the most peaceful I've been. I think when I write for someone else or writing for a client is when I feel the most amount of tension, I suppose. Because it's at the end of the day, it's a transaction, right? If the quality of my work isn't good, I'm not going to get paid. And especially with the freelance writing society in India, it's like not getting paid is very common among writers because the whole transaction is, I suppose, or rather the professional environment isn't professional. It's filled with a lot of fake people.
Yeah, it could do with a lot of changes and a lot of improvements. Correct. You're right. I agree with you. Correct. So apart from writing, do you read? Do you have some favorite authors or something?
So in terms of reading, right now I sort of read things that are specific to the startup, so how I can improve it and so on. But before, say, even a year or two ago, I loved reading Dan Brown. That's sort of where my inspiration came from. Or looking at how can I involve two different storylines into one story is sort of where I sort of draw it from. Like his focus on the fictional side of it, but also the history of it. So there is some elements of, building a cross dynamic sort of product. So that sort of really intrigued me as a writer. But in terms of a reader, I enjoyed his work because it sort of was something that I picked up when I was in 10th grade, but I could still pick up his book when I'm, 24, 25 now. So that is something that I really enjoy. But besides that, I really don't really have the time to read because I still have to balance out the fellowship, the startup, and a freelance career. So that's like 3 jobs rolled into one. So it's been a bit more difficult in that problem.
Yeah, but Dan Brown is always a wonderful writer to go back to, especially the Da Vinci Code, I guess, not only because it's the most popular or well-known one, I guess it's also one of the most well-written books of his entire collection. I think so.
Yeah.
Sure enough. Okay. You mentioned something about freelancers facing challenges in terms of payment and everything. Yeah. Can you tell me in general, what are some of the challenges you are facing currently in terms of your writing as well as you growing into a better writer or better or more opportunities? What are some of the challenges?
So I think that obviously in terms of my freelance writing career, I do want to sort of diversify, find more clients. But the sort of challenge that I have faced is that finding the right sort of client is very difficult. So meaning that Meaning, even if I find the right type of work, like I can tomorrow go and find work that I like doing, but I will not be paid for my experience,
Okay.
right? Because of my 3 years or 2.5 to 3 years of experience, say I expect at the very minimum, if it's purely transactional, 1.5 rupees per word or 2
Correct.
rupees per word, right?
Correct.
But the thing is that those people can go out tomorrow and put up a post on Facebook and get people to write for say 40 pies, 50 pies, and then
Correct.
the day after that complain that quality isn't great. So
Absolutely.
it's sort of a vicious cycle, right? Like I'm
Correct.
like, if you want quality, you have to pay. But if you're
Oh,
not willing to, but on the other hand, it's also where at some point you're like, okay, fine, you don't have to pay me 2 rupees, pay me 1 rupee. But
huh.
so in that essence, you're also selling yourself short,
Correct.
which becomes problematic, right? So and sometimes I just think like, okay, fine, I'll put a hold on my freelance writing career. I'll look at something else. Because if it was me, I would have worked writing as my sort of my core career going forward. But thing is, I'm not able to find the right sort of clients who value quality.
Oh,
I find
I
clients
hear
who don't
this.
really,
Yes, I hear
yeah, I'm
this
pretty sure
from
you heard this a lot.
yes, yes, and
Yeah, a
I
lot of people.
completely agree with you. So I'm not sure, but there could be a better ecosystem that could have been developed where good clients can more easily find good writers and
Yeah,
everything kind of a right match. But I guess we are still a long way from there. Very true. I
yeah,
agree to.
and another thing that I personally feel is a problem is internshala. I know it's a very sort of I'm putting it out there, but anyway, so when you go to internshala and you just put content writer, right?
Okay.
You will find it as one of the things is that one, most of those internships are unpaid.
Huh.
Two, if the internship is paid, it's paid at a really tremendously low price, right?
Which will
So
never help you survive. Correct. Correct.
yeah, which will never help a community to grow. It's like it's always going to be where you. For me, if I look at it, I'll be like, even if I apply to this place outside of it, they're only going to pay me 8,000 a month. Like,
Ha.
how am I going to survive on 8,000 a month as a professional writer,
Very true. Very
right?
true.
So
That's one of the biggest problems
so I think
we
like,
all face. Correct.
yeah,
Very true. Very true.
yeah, I think like people need to differentiate between what an intermediate writer will provide them, what a basic writer will provide them with, and what an advanced writer will provide them with. If people
Very
have
true.
that level, if clients have that level of understanding of what they are signing up for, I think the community can improve going forward. But if you're going to only look at it as a transaction where I need this work done, what is the least amount of money to do it? I think that's where the problem comes.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But that's one of the most common problems every one of us faces. And I hope interviews like this actually can give you a little more visibility in at least attracting the right kind of clients. I do hope so. Great. I'll want to talk a little more closely about you. Is there some specific incident in your life, in your childhood, something that has left a strong impression, that's something really interesting and you would like to share with us? Anything that could be funny, interesting, weird, whatever.
Um, I don't know. I actually, it's something there's not an incident or anything, but I've made it a point to not sort of fall back on what happened during childhood. I didn't have the best of it, at least
Okay.
growing up in school.
Okay.
So I sort of, when I did finish my UG, my undergraduation, I sort of made a point to sort of not go back to it because it wasn't the best of times. So I
Okay.
saw this question on the document and I kept thinking like, should I make up a story just for this interview, or should I come out and be honest that I have nothing memorable to share about the.
In fact, that itself is quite interesting. You know, that's one of the interesting stories we don't get to hear so often, talking honestly about oneself. That's great. That's admirable. Wonderful. Uh, okay. Do you have a favorite writing space in your home or office or something? Do you sit by a window or maybe somewhere you really enjoy writing the most?
I nothing specifically like that, but I do have a specific time that I like to write
Okay.
towards. I like to write after, regardless of how many words an assignment is or anything like that. I always like to work after 7 o'clock at night
Okay.
when I just finish dinner or whatever, because in the morning and afternoon you still have people walking outside. There's a lot of distractions that you can still
Mm-hmm.
face. But
Right.
when it's night and you can just sit at a stretch and finish it off,
Oh, great.
And it's also relatively sort of where it's also relatively closer to the deadline. So there's still a little bit more pressure to sort of go ahead with it,
Another
especially,
challenge is that all
especially,
writers face. Correct. Deadlines.
yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, but especially if it's a subject or if it's a topic that I have no passion in or no interest in, I tend to sort of put it at the sort of doable last minute, I suppose. So where I can just be like, you know what, I have 4 hours, I need to finish this to get paid, I will do it.
Oh,
Right?
great.
Because any other time I start, I'll be like, there is so much time, I can do this on later on and stuff.
Right,
So
right.
I procrastinate as a human normal
I guess
person. Right?
nearly
So
everybody of us is guilty
yeah.
of procrastination. I can understand that. Sure enough. Great. So how do you begin writing? Like, do you sit down and first make notes on a piece of paper, or do you straight away make notes on the laptop or computer, or how does it actually begin?
So depending on what the topic is, depending on what the objective is, so I'll try dividing the article or piece into different subdivisions.
Mhm.
They don't have to be specifically the kind of subtitle that I give them or anything. They're just themes that I divide a particular topic into.
Correct.
So it sort of gives me an overall idea of what it is required, right? And
Correct.
so especially when you write long form papers and stuff, you're looking at a minimum of 2000 to 3000 words.
Correct.
Right? So it's sort of daunting for a lot of people.
Right.
So, but if you divide them into say 6 sub themes or 7 sub themes, then you're looking at say 200 a particular theme.
I
So
think
that
that's
sort
the
of
most
helps you.
important takeaway you are giving us here. Breaking down things into smaller, more easily
Yeah,
doable
smaller
chunks.
themes.
Wonderful.
Yeah. It's
That's
not
great.
specifically the outline. You don't have to put it into say something like introduction, uh, focus point one, nothing like that. But just like putting the overall topic into sub themes sort of helps you even to research or even to find relevant articles to cite. It's easier if you put them as sub themes. That's what I've sort of learned over the course of writing long form articles. Besides that, I don't specifically write notes because I think that for my own end, if I write notes specifically, I might lose out on specific starting points. So I tend to keep them when I write the overall article. But overall, I just look at research. Is the research available? Are there themes available? And how long does it take to finish? That's about it. It's a very
Correct.
sort of simple logic based approach.
Correct. Correct. Okay, fine. Final few questions. Is there somebody or some people that you follow regularly on LinkedIn or other platforms and whom you admire for their writing or any other skills?
Obviously, there are most of the people that I follow on LinkedIn. I do admire them for specific aspects of what they do. Not specific to writing, but it
Okay.
is specific to what they do. In terms of writing specifically, I do follow a lot of people, but they're very unknown. They're mostly my acquaintances or friends and stuff
Okay.
who are they do write a lot. Quite a bit of them write. About at least 80 to 85% of them write.
Okay.
So it's sort of a endearing experience just going through their blogs and sort of
Okay.
understanding where they come
Okay.
from.
Oh,
And most of them write out of without having to get paid, right? So they write from a place of passion or romance. So that sort of also helps me put things into perspective when I
correct.
do feel a little when I look at writing and being like, how much am I going to get paid? But then they
Okay.
look at writing at like, this is my way of expressing myself.
Yeah,
So
it
it's
makes
also
them
helps me
happier.
to sort of
Correct.
yeah. So
Okay.
it helps me just look at it and be like, you know what, maybe I should write an article like this. This can sort of help me take things forward.
Mhm.
So I don't specifically follow anyone with respect to their writing. It's not something that it's not something that I did consciously or anything. It's just that with focusing on the startup and this is sort of clouded my vision, I suppose, in terms of who I follow, because I keep following people who I can easily network with. And with the
Correct.
writer, I'm mostly sort of an outsider if you look at it, because besides freelancing and a few blog posts, I'm not really like that well versed with writing,
Okay.
although I
Okay.
do have issues with it. I mean,
So
I
you
have
have
worked
your
in
own
3 years.
way of improving your craft. That's not bad
Yeah,
either.
that's about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
good enough. Okay. So a couple of fun questions. I have a small rapid fire for you, where I'll be giving you two
Okay.
choices for every question, and then you can choose any one of them. That's plainly to have fun or maybe get a little more understanding about who Surya actually is. Can we start?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, great. So, do you enjoy watching romantic movies or action movies?
Action movies.
Songs or podcasts?
Depends on the podcast. Song, I suppose. Song is a much more neutral term. Song.
Okay. Exercise at home or exercise at the gym?
Exercise at home. You don't have any self-conscious behavior, right? You don't have to worry who's looking at you. So you
Wonderful. Do you enjoy eating fruits or simply sipping a juice?
Fruits, I suppose, yeah.
Fruit, wow. If you were to go on a vacation, what would you choose? A beach or a mountain?
Beach.
Okay. How about choosing between fame, money, and wisdom? That's three choices actually.
Fame, money, and wisdom. Okay.
Correct. Or you can order them in whatever sequence you want.
Okay, put them in a sequence.
Or one of the three. That's fine with me.
Okay, if I'm putting... okay, so if I'm putting things I'll put things in a sequence so it makes easier.
Sure.
Money, wisdom, fame, I suppose. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all looking to sort of survive. And to survive in this world, you need some form of money. So
Correct.
that's where I come from.
Correct. And the last question for the rapid fire. If you were, do you cook? Do you know how to cook?
Yeah, I've been forced to cook because of the pandemic, but
Okay.
yes, I cook.
Okay. So what would you prefer? Cooking for yourself or ordering food online or something?
I mean, after eating my own food, I think cooking for myself is not a bad idea. I mean, if you'd asked me 6 months ago, I'd be like ordering food. But I think now I'm okay. I'm okay at cooking.
Oh, I guess that's one of the most candid answers you gave me. One of the most, of course. And one last question. Is there a favorite quotation, a quote of your somebody that you really would want to live by if possible?
Again, I don't have a favorite quotation. This is one of those other things that I kept looking at Google for a while for. I was like, okay, quote best. I'll look at it and then like, again, having had this sort of candid discussion, I don't want to come across, I don't know, stereotypical at the end of the day. So I don't have a favorite quote.
Okay, so I think we can put it as no favorite quotations is your favorite quote.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Great. Fine. Just before we wind up, is there something else you would like to tell us about yourself?
There's nothing else besides that someone would want to know. The only other thing is I'm pragmatic, which I think it will come across in this recording.
Okay.
It is extremely logical, sensible, and realistic. Besides that, not much.
Great. Surya, it's been wonderful talking to you and it's been really fun and knowing so much things about you and all the amazing things you have been doing.